you tell me, God, to start a business when I'm the brokest I've ever been? It don't make sense. God said, I want you to chase the lion in the snow. If I gave it to you too easy, you'll take credit for it yourself. But when I make you have to chase something that you have to trust the steps I put in front of you, then I'll get the glory. He says, so I'll make the conditions tough where you can barely see the tracks of the lion in the snow. But I still made a way. I want to see if you'll chase the lion even when the conditions aren't favorable. Oh God, thank you, Jesus. Yes. 2 Samuel chapter 23. I'm going to read verses 20 and 21. You have it, say amen. Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, a valiant fighter from Kabzeel, performed great exploits. He struck down Moab's two mightiest warriors. He also went down into a pit on a snowy day and killed a lion. I'm going to stop there for the sake of time today. He also went down into a pit, a snowy pit, a pit on a snowy day, and killed a lion. Chased the lion. Continuing on with chase the lion. This series is for people with dreams bigger than them. This series is for people who are trying to write the bloodline in your family. This series here is for people who was always told you'll be nothing. Your daddy wasn't nothing. Your mama wasn't nothing. Therefore, you'll never be nothing. This series is for those people who are trying to rewrite history. This one here is not for the punks and punkettes. So I'm going to ask you to come back to church in 2 weeks. This one for soldiers. This one's for lion chasers. Father, we thank you this morning as your spirit has fallen fresh in this place already. Lord, we just want to thank you for allowing us an opportunity, God, to bask in your glory, to be in your very presence. Thank you for being omnipotent and omnipresent always in every place. Thank you for grace and thank you for mercy. Speak to me through me this morning to these your people so that they hear from heaven. Lord, it is my very prayer, Lord, that you get all the glory. That no one leaves this place the same way they came. I thank you for a new walk, a new talk, a new heart, a new mindset. And most of all, a new spirit. Let this spirit, Lord, be a kindred spirit with yours. A spirit that intertwines with you so we can be the very fabric that you created to edify the body of Christ. Now, God, today we won't make no excuses. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Oh, blessed one, thank you for opening up the windows of heaven and pouring us out wisdom this morning that we don't have enough room to receive. In your son Jesus' name we pray. Let the church say amen. Tell a neighbor, chase the lion. Yes, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Chase the lion. Chase the lion. Chase the lion, Marvin. Your business gonna double. Chase the lion. Chase the lion. No more will we make excuses as to why God is blessing us, how he's blessing us. We're going to stop making excuses and feeling guilty when God is blessing you. We're chasing lions. Yeah. Don't tell everybody your dream. Most of them be mad with you. Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, was a man who was doing some incredible things. He wasn't a special man, he was just a man. who believed. And the things he did, so I'm going to have to read everything this morning for the sake of time. He killed 2 soldiers. Then he goes on to chase a lion. Most people want to get to the end of that and climax that where he killed a lion. But you have to chase greatness. When you start trying to become great, when you start confessing greatness, you chase it. Most of us call put in work. You have to put in work when you want to be great. You can't whine, because whining doesn't get you there. You have to put in work. I have to chase greatness. Benaiah chased a lion through the snow. The king of the jungle. In retrospect, really was doing the very thing that God had preordained, Dorsey. Man is what God gave us, the one thing that animals don't have: dominion. Man doesn't have dominion. So when we look at this chasing the lion down, and we look at it as it's impossible, we shouldn't be doing it, but what God ordained from the beginning, he said that I give man dominion over every creepy, crawling thing, everything that walks the earth, everything that swims, and every fowl in the air. I give man dominion. What is God saying? He said, I have already preordained for man to be great. I've already preordained man to chase lions. The symbolic symbol of lion is this beast lion, but he's really talking about major goals. God has given man dominion to chase greatness. He's given man dominion to have a great family. He's given man dominion through prayer to change things. Jesus. To change things. The problem is we like to hear emotional sermons that cause our flesh to be exercised, but we never tap into the spirit. Because there's no way a true man can sit down on what I just said and shake his head. When I find out that God has already preordained greatness in my life, that means that God is waiting on me. So that means God has put the ball in my court. So that means that I can have just what I say I can have, be what I say I can be, and do just what I say I can do, because God has listened to me now, because God has already what? Preordained greatness in us. So why do we think like slaves? There was an incident that occurred. This young boy, I won't get into the whole thing, but the young boy whose brother was shot by the Caucasian police, the female, did something that has went viral on the internet. And you know your pastor is one who's going to speak on the elephant in the room. It didn't disturb me until I saw other preachers trying to use the situation as an opportunity. We have forgotten that man gave us dominion over every situation. It's sad, but it's true that a young boy grasped that. People were mad because he forgave that woman, because they felt like the judgment didn't fit the crime. That's not for us to decide. The problem with most saints is that we decide everything that God has already preordained. He said, I knew my thoughts concerning you before you were born. They were good and not of evil, but to give you what? An expected end. You know why we don't get our expected end? Because we start being the narrative. We make ourselves the narrative of our lives instead of giving God authorship of our lives. We try to take that away from God and we create our own narrative. That's why you're on a job you don't like. That's why some of you in marriages that reminds you of what a jail cell feel like. So some people are married and they're on house arrest. Jesus. Because they don't realize they have dominion over every spirit that tries to enter into your house. But here's the thing right here, Sean. They don't realize that you've given those spirits permission to come into to your house because you don't understand the authority, Jesus, that you have as a lion chaser. So I can't get a message like this and don't see some type of edification in my life. Things have to transform when I hear a message like this, because messages like this help me grow. Because now my seed has once again been watered. The word comes to water yourself. The word comes to water the seed, which is us. So as it waters us, then we grow. Don't read your word. You will grow, but you'll grow with thorns around you. So it ain't that you didn't grow. Oh, you got older. You look totally different now than when you were 16. You grew, but you didn't follow the laws of God. That's why you look like you do. When I look at me, I can't get mad at God, because I'm a product of my decisions. The decisions I have made many times with Oreo blizzards took me away from being a lion chaser. I wish I had somebody else who said, Pastor, I wish it was just that easy for me. I didn't have to eat. You know, I've eaten my way out of what God had created me to be, which was a fine God, a Greek God. As they say in the Bible, when they say being in the Bible was very fit, they used the term, Brother Barry, and he was like a Greek God. And that's what I want to get to, where I can get I don't know if I can get a 6-pack. I'm going to work on a 2. So my wife can look and say, I want my wife, thank you, baby. I want my wife, so when I just walk by, I don't say a word, and she starts speaking in tongues. Can I preach it like I feel? I'm just walking by, she, oh, this show, I got to go back and catch her. She's about to fall out. But the decisions I've made in my life doesn't make her get to the point where she can appreciate. It gets her to the point where she has to coach. I cooked this for you. This is what you eat. This is what me and the girls going to eat. It's all part of my decision making. And a lot of my decisions hasn't been the decisions of a lion chaser. Because lion chasers first have to confine to discipline. You have to be disciplined in order to go out here and kill 2 men at the same time. The Bible says that Benaiah went out and killed 2 men at the same time. And it doesn't say anything even in the previous chapters about Benaiah's resume. God allows us to watch him build his resume. Just like God will allow people to see you build your resume. That's if you tell the truth. People are so ashamed of where they are. Sister Kwana, they are so ashamed to say, this is where I am right now. And I'm here because of a couple of bad decisions. Some things just didn't go my way, but this is where I am. But I'm glad you know me now, because where you see me now, you've missed me, because I'm not even here no more. Watch me in the next 2 months and see where I am. Watch how different my resume is between now and Christmas. But a lot of people don't want to say that, because we want lions, but we want somebody else to capture the lion and bring it to us. Jesus said, I did all the capturing that's going to be done when I died on the cross. Ain't nobody else going to fight for you. He has prepared the way for you, and he says it in the presence of your enemies. He said that through David in the book of Psalms. So that lets us know now that everything we need is in us. Everything you need is in you. Every inspiration you need, every piece of motivation, every piece of savage, everything you need, everything you need, the ability to make great business deals is in you, but you got to chase. I can't go out here and say I want to be a great entrepreneur and I don't put in the work. It doesn't work. That's why he says, chase the lion, chase the dream. Benaiah chased the lion, and he chased the lion in the snow. How can you chase something so revered and so fearful, and then God make you chase it in those conditions? Why you tell me, God, to start a business when I'm the brokest I've ever been? It don't make sense. God said, I want you to chase the lion in the snow. If I gave it to you too easy, you'll take credit for it yourself. But when I make you have to chase something that you have to trust the steps I put in front of you, then I'll get the glory. He said, so I'll make the conditions tough, where you can barely see the tracks of the lion in the snow, but I still made a way. I want to see if you'll chase the lion even when the conditions aren't favorable. Will you still run after the vision that God has inserted in you even when you lack the resources? I've been sleeping by myself for 40 years, where it might be 10 more before you get your Boaz. But I'd rather wait 10 more years to get a Boaz than to wait 2 years and come up with a Bo Diddley. Bo Diddley gonna wham bam, thank you, man. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought I was at a million conference. I'm sorry. Y'all forgive me. Some of them say, wham bam, I've been there. That's the difference between Bo Diddley and Boaz. The patience. The chasing, not a man, women, but chasing God. See, if a woman can't chase God, she'll never be submissive to her husband. Baby, they don't like this. Get ready now. We might meet here tomorrow. We might fight up out here today. Purses and everything coming at me. Make sure some money in them. But if a woman, like they say, women should know how men take care of their mom. Men, you should know how women love God. Amen. If a woman doesn't love God, where she can't honor God, she can't respect God, she can't keep God at the forefront of her day, how's she going to keep her husband at it? Chase the lion, man. They don't like this, but it's true. Chase the lion. In chasing lions, we have to learn to face our fears, or they will hold us back forever. In chasing lions, the Bible never said that this guy was not afraid of the lion. It just say he chased. They don't put all that in there because it doesn't matter. All God wants to see is you moving. All God wants to see is, I'm tired of being stuck in the mud. And he said, you that because you like mud. He said, I've given you power to continue to keep moving. Now, you might not move at the pace in which you desire, but there's reason for that. The reason you don't move at the pace you desire, because if you move you too fast, you'll miss something. So he has to move you at the pace that you've proven you can receive and reciprocate what God has given. So if I prove to God that I'm a quick learner and I'm obedient through all things, he's going to move me faster spiritually. But if it shows God that it takes me time, I'm hard-headed, I just refuse, I can't let it go. I can't let the streets go. I can't let what I used to do go. It's going to take a little more time. So it depends on your walk with Christ, how fast you expedite your success. I know that success don't have to take long. I know when I look at how long it took Noah to build the ark, and then I look at how long it took Jesus to shift the world. We're talking about the transition of two worlds, and how long it took Noah to build an ark with his family, and how long it took Jesus to transition the world with his family. And it's amazing because everybody in Noah's family was willing to work. But the disciples that were with Jesus was hard-headed crazy, and scary. The beautiful part about Jesus with the disciples was that people don't even realize this, Dorsey, but Jesus transformed a bunch of punks into men.
Talk about it.
Might not have a church next time. Jesus, through showing how you chase greatness, transformed a bunch of punks into real men. The reason I know this, church, is because when Jesus was fighting neither than the most, every time they scattered. Every time. Ultimate time, we all know about the cross, that was the ultimate. But before then, when Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane, and the people from the land, it wasn't soldiers. People always saying soldiers. It wasn't the Roman soldiers. They had to grab the people. The synagogue had to grab the farmers and all them people. That's why they didn't know who Jesus was. Because they hadn't been around. You know, the soldiers would have knew before they got there. The Roman soldiers was extremely strategic. But they didn't know. These people are, who is the Jews? The one that I kiss. And with that, they kiss him and everything. They try to arrest him. And where are the people who are with Jesus? Where are the guys? The Bible say they scattered. He transitioned kittens into lions, hawks into men. But they had to chase in order to get there. That's what I want people to understand about chasing. You don't have to be great. You have to be courageous. I have to be courageous enough to do something that I fear. I have to go at something that I'm scared of, but I do it anyway. That's courageous. That's what we need when we're moving and talking about chasing lions. That's what we are looking for. We get to the point where we talk about Gideon and how God, I should say, used Gideon in the Bible to chase lions. Everybody knows the story about what happened through Gideon, but very few people know Gideon. Most people don't know who Gideon really was. We just know that he had a few people with him. He chose some people from a lake when the people was drinking, and then they went and fought the Amorites. But that's not it. The person that God chose, Gideon, was the weakest or one of the weakest men in all of Israel. Reach text. Let me go back. Let me go back on somebody looking at me sideways. Turn to Judges chapter 6. Because I'm going to have to, this is going to help somebody. You have to say amen. Amen. Look at what it says in verse 1. The Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord, and for 7 years he gave them into the hands of the Midianites. Because the power of Midian was so oppressive, the Israelites prepared shelters for themselves in mountain cliffs, caves, and strongholds. This is who they're fighting. The Israelites were fighting a lion that was much bigger, much stronger, much greater. They had been fighting these people for 7 years. What have you been fighting for the last 3 years that you can't overcome? What's the one thing that just is like a thorn in your side? I can't get rid of it. I keep fighting this, and it keeps defeating me. Because the Midianites were aggressive. The Bible declared tormenting the children of Israel. Now it seems like with this type of situation, it seems like that God would choose a mighty warrior, but he chose someone who weak. He chose somebody who weak. There were so many of them. In verse 5 it says they came up with their livestock and their tents like swarms of locusts. It was impossible to count them or their camels. They invaded the land to ravage it. There was a lot of Midianites. It was way more Midianites than it was Israelites. And they came with the mindset, we're going to take over. Just like the amps that have been assigned to you, they come in your life with the mindset, I'm taking over. They come in your mind with the mindset that I'm going to run you free of charge. You're not going to be able to charge me because you don't know your own value. You can't charge if you don't know your own value. So that's why God chose Gideon. He says over in 11, verse 11, the angel of the Lord came out and sat down under the oak in offering that belonged to Joshua the Abiezrite, where his son Gideon was threshing wheat in a winepress to keep it from the Midianites. That means he's in a place hiding, pressing, so they wouldn't catch him. A grown man hiding. He's okay and he's comfortable with hiding because he don't want to face a lion. So many households are struggling because the head of household don't want to face lions. So many people in the church are playing safe because they don't want to chase or face lions. And your lions in the church are your addictions. You don't want to tell the truth that you have a sex issue. We got children's church. You don't want to preach or you don't want to face your lion that you have an issue watching pornos. You don't want to face it that you're a man with lustful eyes. You don't want to chase your lions, but you want deliverance. The only way we get deliverance is we fight those things that try to hinder us from the blessings of God. That's how you change. Some people sit here, they are afraid of success. I know it sounds crazy, but some people in here are afraid to go after success. You've been down so long, getting up ain't on your mind. All you think about is how I'm going to make it down here. I want to be comfortable. I don't want to be comfortable. I want to keep moving. My whole life, I want somebody to say he was always moving forward. Comfortable is like a noose. Comfortable eventually suffocates you and the dreams and the vision that God has given you. Gideon! Yeah, you be talking about Gideon and his army. You didn't know what he came from. Just like people see you now, Mayor Dixon, and they don't know what you came through. Amen. I listen to people all the time, Mayor Dixon, we love you, and you just so, and I be looking like, if y'all only see the scars of what she had to do with those lions. If you only see what it was like for a single parent to raise 4 children on welfare while she was trying to further herself through getting her education. Chasing lions ain't fun. If you only see how she had to carry my sister in a little red wagon when it was cold and she didn't have nothing but a sweater. And take her all the way up Proud Road to get her downtown to the doctor. Chasing lions. All people want to see is the finished product, and they refuse to see the process. Anytime you get discouraged, look back at your process and see what God has already brought you. What God has already brought me through. They said I wouldn't make it. Yeah, encourage yourself. They said I wouldn't be here today. All you got to do is look back at the process and gain strength. I ain't supposed to be here. People say, I'm supposed to be in jail. I'm supposed to be dead. Thank God for grace. God gave you another chance to do better. He gave you another chance to let your light so shine that man see it and God get the glory, honor, and praise out of your life. But we get so caught up in where we are, we're stuck. We get so caught up in where we are until we forget who we are. And even greater than that, whose we are. Every time people see you, they start running. Come on, girl, let's go. What? Come, there go Carol. Come on, let's go. Because you know, Carolyn ain't gonna do nothing but bring a sad song and slow walking. She'll make it seem like she can't pay a light bill, somebody died. I see what kind of church y'all are. Y'all don't like the truth. But it's the truth. God chose Gideon, and Gideon was threshing wheat in a winepress to keep it from the Midianites. When the angel of the Lord appeared to Gideon, he said, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Jesus. God chose him. As soon as God chose Gideon, the first thing he did was send reassurance that it was God who got you or called you to do this. He sent an angel to say God is with you. And I like that part. But the part I love the next is the next clause where he gives him a title before he even fights. He calls him a mighty warrior. He has a fault, but God calls him already a warrior. Let me tell you something here, people. There's a warrior in you. There's a warrior that's greater in you for good than evil. There's a warrior in you where you can change things. There's a warrior where you can speak those things into existence that other people won't even believe if they saw it in your life. You can speak healing in your life. There's a warrior in you. There's a warrior in you before you're ever diagnosed. Whose report will we believe? He tells Gideon, an angel, God is with you. Oh, yeah. Mighty warrior. You know what that's like when you used to get to fighting when you were young and that joker might be whipping you, but when your mama come outside. Barry, you saw these sedated people in here. Most of them probably ain't even been to the drive-in. But when you start, you know how when you fighting outside, he might be getting the best of it. But when your mama come out there, Elder Bentley, things change. Mama ain't did nothing but to speak to you. This is my mama here. I can't speak about your mama. My mama come out the door. You better hit him back. You better fight. Now, she never say you better win. My mama's whole thing was, you better fight back. She knew if I fought long enough, I'd win. And she knew there's some things she can't fight for me. See, some of you want to keep your kids all the time. You got them in your hand all the time. Put them jokers down. Put them down. You want to feed them and the kid growing, you want to do all this and that. No, teach them life. Teach them life. I love extracurricular activities because extracurricular activities help discipline kids. Extracurricular activities teach kids how to work in unison with others, how to be on one accord with people, how to be on time for something, how to wear the same clothes and everybody's doing the same thing, called harmony. You may not believe this, but extracurricular activities sometimes is the only structure some of the kids get. They're definitely not getting it at home. It has to be confusing for a daddy to never miss a game of yours and you never see him except during football season. That's mixed signals. So we can't afford to just look at it from that perspective. Because your family up there, mom and dad at the game, they're supposed to be there to celebrate you. Mom and dad don't got the strapping at the concession stand. I don't know why the people in this church. You telling the truth. looking like. But it's the truth. That a lot of people don't have what you have when it comes to chasing lions. A lot of people get too much and they lose out on what they should have had. Some people don't understand pain. Some people don't understand. And we as parents a lot of times try to overcompensate for our children. And we don't want our children to suffer nothing. When the Bible says the ways of a Christian, the transgressor are hard, but it then come back and say that Christians shall endure long suffering. But we don't want our kids to suffer nothing. But the Bible says that they shall endure long suffering. So when they leave, they become handicapped. You blame them and say they were nothing. God looks at you and say, you went outside my will. Your child is a product of you. But you're blaming the teachers at the school. You're blaming the teachers at the nursery. You blame anybody but yourself. Marcella, they blame anybody. Go up to the nurse. You the reason. Little Johnny cussing everybody out when we go over here. I can't take him nowhere. Nobody want to let us come over for Thanksgiving because Johnny cussing everybody out. He ain't but 7 years old. He got this up at your school. And you sitting there like, we don't even use figurative language in here. I will fire them if they're using figurative language. He getting that at home. Chasing lions. An angel appeared to Gideon and he said, the Lord is with you, mighty warrior. The next verse said, now look what Gideon said, pardon me. Gideon said, pardon me, my Lord. Gideon replied, but if the Lord is with us, why has all this happened to us? What does that sound familiar? I've been going to church on this church. I've been a member of this church for 2 months. Why things still the same? Why God let this happen to me? And I joined the church. I ain't missed a Sunday. I've been going to new members class. I pay my tithes and offerings. Man, I even go to Champions Blend. I buy something every Sunday. Why is this still happening to me? I started going to the Wednesday service, the first of every month. I know they feed you on Wednesday. I go that Wednesday. I'm working on the other ones. Why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to us? Where are all his wonders that our ancestors told us about when they said, did not the Lord bring us out of Egypt? Very interesting thing. The problem today is we're prostituting too many people's testimonies. We're prostituting other people's testimonies. Other words, I'm saying, quit living off of what God's doing for other people.
Yes.
Rejoice with them. Don't get me wrong, Durante, rejoice with them. But you can't live off of their testimony because that was their test. At some point, you have to pass your test. So you can go out and say, look what God did for me. You ever seen somebody, all they do is tell you about what other people are doing? You know, Shirley got a new car. Oh, good for Shirley. Yeah, girl, and they got spinners on it and everything. Girl, that's not, you're right. You're like, okay. And then I tell you, okay, it's fine. What you doing? You're trying to get in her car. Everywhere she go, you're trying to go with her. When you going to get your own? You know, such says you got a master's degree. Really? That's awesome. Man, praise God. Yeah, you know, she got that master's degree down here at Georgia State. That's a good school. You know, she graduated in 3 months. I'm going to the graduation. Start your own. Do something where people can come and appreciate you. But we don't want to chase lions. We would rather let other people chase lions and look at the pictures they bring back. We don't want to work at it. We don't want. He picked this joker here, man. Out of everybody in Israel, he picked Gideon. This Paul, he picked this joker here. I got more respect for him. At least he went to Bethlehem and picked David. And people didn't care nothing about Bethlehem. Bethlehem was a place that they said, I know won't no king come from Bethlehem. But Gideon was in Israel. He was worthless. God picked him. I tell women all the time, I'm thinking about divorcing my husband. I said, some good in him, you just got to find it. There's some good in him, brother. You just got to find it. The reason I say that is because the Bible says everything God made was good. Everything God made was good. In 6 days, he looked and said, I'm pleased. And he said, well, he hadn't made my husband. Yes, he did. When the dirt was there, your husband was in. Yeah, so your husband was made from the beginning. He hadn't been formed yet, but he was there in the dirt. So he's good. We just got to find it. That's how you chase. I was talking to Elder Marks this morning in the back door ministers meeting. I say, I really mean what I say when I Facebook people about anniversaries, wedding anniversaries. That's the one thing that Satan never takes time off on. Because wedding anniversaries are the parallel to Jesus loving the church. It's the one thing that he says you have to love unconditionally. There's really no way out of marriage. He says you got to love it unconditionally. I didn't quit on the church. You shouldn't quit on your marriage. I died for the church. You should die for your spouse. That is if you go about the right way. If you pick them the right way and seek God, you can clap your hands on this. If you went out for a waistline, 36, 24, 36, then you fishing out there with a hook and no bait. You won't catch him. You won't catch the right thing. This guy was in Israel. God picked one of the weakest jokers in Israel. He said, well, what happened to all these things our ancestors told us about? Did not the Lord bring us out of Egypt? But now the Lord has abandoned us and given us into the land and the hands of the Midians. That's what we do when it takes time and God doesn't move in your time. The first thing we say, God forgot us. And God said, if I forgot you, then my word is going to return unto me void, because I said I'll never leave you nor forsake you. Which means that what I'm going through right now, it may not feel good, but it's for my good. Come on, church. It may not feel good, but it's for my good, because God said I'll never leave you nor forsake you. So if God won't forsake me, even when I'm going through this process, that means I'm still good. I'm good to go. I'm good to chase. I'm good to be great. I'm good to be the head and not the tail. I'm good to be the lender and not the borrower. I'm good to be the leader. I'm good to be out front and not the caboose. Sick of being the caboose. Tired of looking at the view from the back. I'm sick of it. I want to see what it's like in the front. And you have the capability to do it if you remind yourself that you're a lion chaser. And it doesn't matter what you've been through. It doesn't matter where you've been to try to find joy. Some people get joy during football season. Well, they have it during football season. I mean, even though the Falcons are not doing well right now. They have it. They represent them dirty birds all red and black out every Sunday. I see grown men cars decked out with the dirty birds on it. Joe ain't making over $30,000, but he got the car. He wants everybody to know he represents something that's a seasonal occupation. Grown men, whole car, dirty bird, and ain't even paying their child support. Won't even pay the child support, but they look good. I have a problem with dudes who dress all the time and don't take care of home. I mean, that's just me. I'm done. My time's up. But I have a problem with that now. You always out with the boy, you looking good, everything tight, and then the family suffer. I have a problem with that. And all you're worried about is how much money in your pocket. And you're not worried about what's in the bank for your children's scholarship fund. Or you're not worried about, or thinking, let me say, not worried, but thinking about retirement. Ladies, if your husband doesn't sit you down sometime and talk about retirement, he don't care about your future. I honestly believe, Sister Barry, and my grandfather taught me this. He said a man will be known, his legacy, how he said, his legacy is created while he's on earth. It will be appreciated after he's gone. In other words, my thing is, when I die, I'm going to still be able to run my house. And Barry, I'm so glad you stood up on that. I'm glad somebody stood up on that. I'm so glad for G.W. Famous. A true man, when chasing lions, runs his house, even after God has called him home. The wife should cry because she's going to miss him. She shouldn't have to cry twice because she's trying to figure out if the church going to help her bury him. That's a real lion chaser. I run my house even when I'm gone. Going to glory. My wife's still at church. She missed me. Hard not to. But she good. God bless you. God bless you. You tell your wife beforehand, don't put no doves up in the air for me. And they fly back to the funeral home. I don't need all the clothes. Take all my watch and jewelry. Take the money and put it in a charity. It's going to go in the ground and stay there. I don't want to be wasteful even when I'm going to glory. That's a lion chaser. Yeah, everything's paid for, baby. You good. You good. And the girl got a little bit too. That's how you do that while you seeking your dream. You don't do, I'm helping somebody, I'm over time, but I'm helping somebody. Because most people, Mother Ann, most men say, well, once I get here, I'm going to do that. No, some things you have to do simultaneously. And the one thing that we don't have control over is death. So I have to prepare now for in the event that happens. My wife can stand up and say, I'm going to miss him. That joker was right. Couldn't cook, but he was right. That's a true lion chaser. Gideon was chosen for one specific reason. It wasn't because he was weak, but it was one specific reason why he was chosen. When I read this and studied and started in Revelation, I was like, oh my God. But I'm going to tell it to you next Sunday. Put your hands together. God bless you.
We are so glad you're here. Remember, let's continue to honor God through our commitment to give. There are 4 ways to give. The first being Cash App at $Champions for Christ. Next, you may also give online at the Champions for Christ website at www.championsforchristim.org. You may also text Overflow to 888-364-4483. Lastly, you may give on our mobile app available in the Apple and Google Play Store. Let's continue to encourage everyone to tune in next week. Remember, this is still the year of no distractions. We are champions because we are champions for Christ.